So the Canadian federal election is less than a week away, which is why I'm going to be spending this whole week going through the campaigns of the leaders of the three major political parties in Canada, and I'll see how they turned out. Today, it's Mark Carney's turn. But before I go ahead with the video, as always, please like this video if you like videos like these, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. I have videos upcoming on Pierre Poilievre and Jagmeet Singh's campaigns as well, in which I will try my best to be as objective as possible, even though the comments tend to say otherwise. And yeah, let's go ahead with Mark Carney. So Mark Carney, the current Prime Minister of Canada, called for early elections because the Liberals were surging in the polls, all thanks to Donald Trump, and also because he didn't have a seat in Parliament. Now, Carney was a relatively unknown figure in Canada and Canadian politics, having never contested in an election ever before. And this unknown quantity in the eyes of Canadians proved to be a real asset for the Liberals, because Carney carried no baggage from the Trudeau government, which was very unpopular by now. The first time people saw Carney was when he came on The Daily Show and basically announced his intention of running for the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada in January.
But let's say the candidate wasn't part of the government. Let's say the candidate did have a lot of economic experience. Let's say the candidate did deal with crises. Let's say the candidate had a plan to deal with the challenges in the here and now.
Back then, Carney came off as really likable, down to earth, but also intelligent. And people tend to forget that before this Daily Show appearance, it was actually Chrystia Freeland who was tipped to succeed Trudeau as the leader of the Liberal Party and the position of Prime Minister. It was this one Daily Show appearance that basically cemented the Liberal Party leadership for Mark Carney. It was this and the obvious Trump tariffs that worked to Carney's advantage. Him being a former central banker and the governor of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England made him more than accomplished to deal with Trump, his tariffs, and his threats to annexation. So I would say the first few weeks of Carney's campaign was pretty good, in the sense that there wasn't really much that happened. In fact, I think I can summarize this whole campaign as not much having happened, because this campaign was kind of rushed, and it was the smallest possible campaign possible for a federal election. So there wasn't that much room for anything to happen, and that was by design as well, because people had this perception of Carney and they didn't want this perception to be ruined by any faults that may come. So in the start, it was smooth sailing for Mark Carney. So the first bit of controversy came when it was revealed that the Liberal candidate and current MP for Markham Unionville, Paul Chiang, said that people could hand over Conservative candidate Joe Tay to Chinese authorities. For context, Joe Tay has supported the pro-democracy and anti-Chinese protests in Hong Kong and has openly advocated for this in Canada. In response to this, the Hong Kong police has put a bounty on Joe Tay's head for 1 million Hong Kong dollars and placed an arrest warrant on him. So, a fellow Liberal MP and candidate calling out for violence, especially by handing a Canadian citizen to another country, was not a good look for the party. When asked about this, Mark Carney said,
"He is a veteran policeman. Mr. Chiang is a veteran policeman with more than a quarter century of service to his community. 28 years of defending rights in his community, and he will continue with his candidacy going forward, having made those apologies very clearly to the individual, to the community, and moving forward to so."
Naturally, Pierre Poilievre criticized Carney for this, and Chiang eventually withdrew his bid to seek re-election, and the story was kind of dead and buried, especially since after this the Conservatives dropped 6 of their candidates for seemingly similar reasons, so it kind of became a non-issue at the end of it. Just by the nature of how Carney is as a person, it was naturally going to be very tough for any controversies to come his way. It seemed as though he was a bit too calculated in what he said and how he said it, which also kind of made him very boring in his speeches as well. So it was kind of surprising and also refreshing when Carney seemed to imply that there is a genocide happening in Gaza by Israel.
Mr. Carney, there's a genocide happening in Gaza.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana. I'm aware, which is why we have an arms embargo.
He got a lot of coverage for this, and a lot of people on the left praised him for taking a firm stance. However, it didn't take Carney long to retract his statement and say that he didn't hear the word genocide being shouted.
At the rally, there was a protester who, it was hard to hear, I believe said, there's a genocide in Gaza. One of the first protester that interrupted your speech said, there's a genocide in Gaza. And I believe your response was, I'm aware, that's why there's an arms embargo. So I just wanted to clarify what you heard. If you said, I'm aware, what were you being aware of? Are you conceding it's a genocide in Gaza?
I didn't hear that. Actually, I didn't hear that word. You were there, I guess, and yeah. So it's noisy. There's you get if you're up there, you hear snippets of what people say, and I heard Gaza and that, and my point was I'm aware of the situation in Gaza, and Canada does, as you know, and it's a matter of public record. We do have restrictions since probably January of 2024 on arms exports or permits for arms exports to Israel, with the sole exception of the Iron Dome, which protects them more broadly. So, look, didn't hear. I was stating a fact in terms of the arms restrictions.
And I feel that was all by design. Carney doesn't want to say anything that can remotely be controversial in this campaign, and the situation in Palestine is one which is probably the most controversial topic out there. Do I think he should have stood up for his stance? Absolutely. Do I think that politically this was the right call by Carney? Also potentially. And lastly for this video, I want to talk about the English and French debates that have happened last week as well. Now, to be honest, I watched both the English and French debates. Not all of it, but I watched the majority of it. To be honest, the only way Mark Carney could do bad in those elections is if he said something really outrageous or something really clip-worthy that the other parties could attack him for. But in hindsight, it's been a week, and none of the attacks that the other parties gave towards Mark Carney, which by the way, they attacked him a lot for every single thing that they could, none of the attacks stuck. In fact, people believed that Mark Carney's French was so much worse than it actually was, that him displaying an average level of French was actually more than what people expected of him. So I guess that worked in his favor as well. And if you check the net favorability based on the English and French debates, Mark Carney is actually ranked second. I do believe that Pierre Poilievre was the winner of the debates, but not because he is a good debater per se, but because he stuck to his talking points for his own base, and he made sure to attack Carney. And there were a lot of points where Carney let things slide and did not answer things back and left things in the air, and that is why I think Poilievre was the biggest winner in this. But aside from this, as of recording this video, there are only a few days left for the federal election. I would say Mark Carney's campaign has been going pretty smoothly so far, and seeing as there's only a few days left, I don't think there's going to be any other slip-ups or anything in the next few days, and I think that works best for Mark Carney. Anyways, if you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this.